Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Puck Pitches, a Vibes-based podcast where we yap about all things hockey. Today is March 27th, 2026. I'm your host, Champ, and this is my partner in crime, Saint. Saint, how you doing?
I'm recovering from post-vacation needed.
Yeah, honest to God. Well, as always, we have a lot to discuss about this episode, so let's jump right into it. Saint, we gotta talk about it.
Yeah, we actually have a lot to talk about because we weren't here
For 3 weeks? No, two and a half, pretty much.
It was like 2.5, like a solid 2.
Because we did trade deadline, and then we dropped off the face of the planet.
That's literally the month of March didn't exist for me.
No, not at all.
It was like being in a different planet because we were on vacation, and so like nothing was real.
Yeah.
And I came back and I was like, I know it's about to be April, but like I don't feel like I existed during the month of March
at all.
I feel like it was like a fugue state.
In a good way. Definitely in a good way. But it was one of those things where I was like, I got back and I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like 10 days actually was 10 days. Oh, yikes. All right. Well.
Yeah. We're going to have a whole thing on that.
Yeah. Well, Saint, we had a lot go on while we were gone, including, once again, the Department of Player Safety being the Department of Player Safety and the Department of Panther Safety, and also big fans of Radko Gudas for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, so here's just the baseline of what it is. Everything that happens with the Department of Player Safety is that it's run by a guy who was an enforcer.
Yeah.
And has a bunch of brain damage and has a personal ego problem, much of the old guard in all of hockey. But like he specifically has a lot hinging on the fact that enforcing was his way of life and therefore enforcing must be good.
Yeah.
And I think he's secretly jealous of people who were way more actually talented than him.
Okay.
And that's why he punishes like actually good dudes like Brian Rust for a first time offense and then makes a career offender like AJ Greer get the same amount.
That's crazy. I'd completely forgotten that they got the same amount. Yeah.
Until this month, until this whole thing with Gudas and Greer, the Pens were the only ones who had more than 1 day's worth of suspension, and it was 3 and 5. So don't get me wrong, Gino's like shit was wrong, but
he deserved the suspension. I don't think it was 5, but it was deserved of an extent.
AJ Greer tried to paralyze the man live on television and got the same as Rusty, who clearly it was an incidental, like it was a desperate play and he was not thinking, and his brain short circuited, but it was not like an intent to injure kind of thing. Like
that AJ Greer had. Yeah. And so obviously if you've not seen the AJ Greer video, where the fuck have you been? Because we saw it and we were on vacation. And we watched it live and we both went, what just happened? Like legitimately, what just happened? The Radko Gudas hit happened while I was on the plane and it completely took out Austin Matthews. For the season, by the way.
Yeah, he donezo.
And
two captains,
yeah. 2 captains, same injury. With varying degrees of severity. And I don't know if you read his statement when he came back, but he's like, I obviously didn't mean it. I'm so sorry that it happened. And I'm like, my guy, you have been suspended several times for the same intent to injure. Obviously, you knew what you were doing. And I don't know how he's captain of an NHL team.
Yeah, every time I'm reminded that like he's
the Ducks captain. I hate the Ducks even more.
It's like just an embarrassment to the NHL. Like you're just like, it's absolute dog shit. Like how is he even like I guess I don't know if I guess it must depend on teams if some players choose a captain or it's a captain that's picked, by I don't really know. But whoever's deciding that, like, you're fucking dumb. Like Jamie Benn, right, is a very underrated, because there was a discussion thread on Reddit about like who's the best captain, who's the worst captain, who's underrated, shit like that. And like honestly, Jamie Benn, for being a pretty dirty player, has like everyone who's ever been in his locker room is like ride or die for him and says he's the best captain ever. So it's like, I don't feel like it's a scenario like that though. I don't see anyone being like, Gudas is the best fucking dude I've ever met. Like, and I don't even really like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's done nothing. His plays are, like, very obviously he gets away with it, and so he's just gonna keep playing recklessly and hurting people because it puts him better in the like, in every way because he knows he's never gonna
Get punished for it, yeah.
Yeah, like
And this also comes after all 32 GMs had a meeting, their usual, spring meeting where they discuss how the league's going. And the reason that it's so upsetting for at least me, and I know that you feel the same way, is that these GMs had this meeting and then only one GM spoke up. Tulski is the Carolina GM. And honest to God, that made my respect for the Carolina Hurricanes go up tenfold because they're actually trying to do something. And I have a feeling they're going to get punished for it because Gary Bettman has an ego problem.
I don't care if the kids get punished because
I know
hate
you
their
need
coach.
them. Yeah. Oh,
No, I
yeah,
hate their
Rob,
coach.
yeah.
What a fucking whiny piece of shit. Fuck off. I don't care what you did in your career in
Talk about
hockey.
enforcers.
Throwing a temper tantrum every time you don't get the softest call in the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Well, you've already had a bunch of calls, and like you should be getting ejected from the game for how you're speaking to these referees, and then all the referees just suck your dick and give you a power play for whatever you want. It's happened. The only thing is, I guess it doesn't happen in playoffs that often, but like I have seen it happen multiple times this season where he just
He's
like
got the
throws a
Paul
temper
Maurice
tantrum.
vibe.
Yeah, very much a Paul Maurice, entitled, and like he doesn't understand how the refs don't give him every call ever, and I'm just like, you're an embarrassment. Like they play boring hocky.
They
I
do
have
play boring hockey.
Canes went from like, oh, they kind of endear me a little bit when they've got some. I fucking hate them. I really fucking hate them. That being said, you can tell that it's absolutely an old boys club culture problem where they're all afraid to speak up because they know that speaking up, like we've talked about this before about how like the cult mentality of hockey, it's very much a like they break you into the mold. You do not survive. There's been articles written about it too that like in hockey, like outliers are punished. Like even if you're skilled,
it's a frat.
Like
it's still a frat.
It is a frat. It is a frat, and in every bad way.
Yeah.
In every good way too, but in every bad way, it is a frat. Like that's just the closest thing I think, especially for Americans, we can relate it to. It is a cult. You're ride or die for the brotherhood, and you do some good things, but it doesn't negate like the sexual harassment, abuse, exploitation, violence, and hazing that happens. Yeah, and like again, any outlier, if you are even remotely different outside of like the allotted 10 characteristics, you are like ostracized in every way, and it just shows. And again, the ego problem, I think it's because of Kyle DeBoss, but like it's gotten to the point where like reporters, like the local reporters for the Pens, or like the Beats reporters for the Pens, have basically been like, I don't understand why there is not like an investigation. I think it's because we don't have a strong ownership. So
from the Pens, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I was talking about in general with
in general, but like, I mean, in general,
which is why I was really impressed with Tulski speaking up, because that is one of those moments where you're going against 31 other GMs who did not say a damn word.
Who sat
about injuries and headshots and going after goalies and stuff like this, and he was the only one who seemed like he actually cared about player health and player safety.
Which like, and I like Kyle DeBoss, and I understand why he didn't speak up. Because again, the Pens have already been.
Yeah, it's true.
I was gonna say I would not be surprised if there is a lot of anger at Kyle DeBoss because he failed in Toronto.
Yeah.
And he didn't fail in Toronto. He was not given the authority to do the things he needed to do in Toronto. And now he's going and making the Pens like another potential
dynasty.
Like, like honestly, like even after, like we've seen it, even after Sid and Gino retire, we have there's going to be some bumps, but like they're handing it off at a time where like we seem to have a really good prospect pool, and then their caps clearing. Like we have a star in Ben Kindle. Like we have a lot of reliable locker room
you're gonna
guys
be
and
so
players.
lucky after this draft.
We have so many draft picks. Like he's stocked the cupboard above and beyond, and I genuinely think that it's two knocks against us. One, or actually technically three. It's comes in threes. One, Dan Buse is a new coach.
Yep.
They're hazing the rookie coach, which I don't think they did it to Knobloch as bad. I don't know why they're doing it this bad to Dan Muse. I think it's a combination of things, but like we are now have not won a single goaltender interference challenge of 9.
Yeah.
Which is absurd. And 5 challenges have been made against us, and 4 of those were awarded. Awarded, which I think Dan Muse at this point, I don't know if you saw the Brazo one that got overturned.
I did.
And then the one that just happened
in Columbus
last night.
Oh.
Where Stuart Skinner was like knocked into, worse than Braz knocked into that goalie, and they still wouldn't give it to us. And Stuart Skinner was like, his skate knocked into my stick. Like he was in the blue paint. Like it was a clear cut. And so like that, and then we don't have a like a true owner in the way, like, so Mario Lemieux, I think, is like, he was always like a partial owner before, but now with like,
because y'all just had a sale, didn't you?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like the sale has gone through and they're a small bid ownership.
Right.
Like they're not like a mega corporation. They're like a family, which is one concern that people have had, is that they may not even have the capital to pay out the fucking cap salary. That's been like brought up by some.
I've seen the same question come up with Columbus. They're like, are we going to be able to even afford? And they do that a lot with baseball too. You know, baseball, the reason that the Dodgers keep getting such a dynasty and having,
because they can pay whatever they want.
Can pay whatever they want.
Salary cap. But like, so
but this
I don't.
Is different. Y'all have a salary cap. It's just a matter of, can you afford the players?
Can you actually?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's one of those things where, like, when you talk about salary cap, you think of it almost in an abstract, but there's real dollars involved. Yeah. Who's paying the real dollars? And it's technically the owners.
Yep.
So if they don't have the real dollars to pay this, what happens? You know what I mean? So I think so between the boss, Muse, and then the new ownership, I think that they are punishing the Pens, and it's really, really, really obvious.
Yes.
Like it's gotten to the point where, like, if we lived in a functioning society where, like, and I don't have any problem with like the NHL not being, you know, privatized or anything, or like, or even like public sector, but like the fact that there is not like a investigation into this on like a, hey, this is basically fraud. Like you're intentionally tanking this team. How is that not like a crime, or like, is there nothing in like,
it's the same thing as the betting scandals. It drives me freaking insane.
But betting gets way more than like actual violence in the league, which is crazy. Like you could kill a dude and they'd give you less games. But yeah, like, so I have obviously, like, we've beaten this horse to death 10 times over, but like it's just absolutely fucking absurd. And I don't understand how, like, I don't know if this is maybe going to be an off-season thing, but if I'm ownership, I mean, like, you saw that, like, the Pens are printing out the definition of goaltender
which I think is baller hysterical as fuck.
And Dan Muse, I think he's challenging stuff on purpose for 2 reasons. He's admitted outright. To show it, to be like, so you have, every time he challenges, you have a direct comparison to something that got overturned for us.
Yep.
And then you can go see, and you can look like, what the fuck are they talking about? And it's very clearly just literally, if it hurts the Penguins, they will rule that way. That is the way that they will rule when it's a judgment call.
Yeah.
And at this point, for goaltender interference, I think they just need to, as much as it would suck to lose some of those crazy goals, I don't think skaters should be allowed in the blue paint. At this point, I would rather it be a micro thing of like how offsides is like, his skate was one fraction of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd rather it be that, because at this point, it's such a bad judgment call. They don't follow their own, and like that was the argument, was like, well, it's a judgment call, but they're not following their own
judgments.
Judgment calls have a rubric, right?
Yep.
And goaltender interference has a rubric, and they're not following the rubric. And I think that, like, if you're a GM or like you're a coach, you should be allowed to point that out.
I agree.
And who's holding Toronto accountable? Who's holding these referees and their shit fucking calls accountable?
So,
and who's calling all of the stick holding, all of the shit? Like, we've had guys literally like get high sticked 2 inches in front of the ref, and the refs just stare and shrug, and like they almost have a fucking smirk on their face.
Yeah, I know.
Swear to God, some of these refs literally like fucking Garrett Rank, Kelly Sutherland, Garrett Rank, absolute fucking bush league. Like, Lib, you had it right. Like, this is a garage league. There is no actual accountability to it whatsoever.
So it's interesting because this is the first year, where the Toronto Situation Room has gone freaking wild with how, like, we've shown the layout before, again, because we've had this conversation before. But I would like to point out that Elliot Friedman had a moment where he got on a Zoom call and talked to the GMs on Thursday, last night, and had a discussion about what the NHL Situation Room is seeing. And I want to run this by you because I thought it was interesting, but I also haven't seen the games where these have been called back. I've seen the aftermath of it and seen the, obviously I think a bunch of these are bullshit because they're direct comparisons. He said that one thing that is to be noted is that a former official is in the room with hockey operations every weekend. And last weekend, it was Dan O'Halloran, who refereed in 1995 to 2020. And then he talks about how the Penguins were up against the Jets when Barron scored the goal that was disputed so heavily. And he says that he was explained that the key was the puck was in front of Barron, and then he didn't change his path in an obvious attempt to wipe out the goalie. His only interest was to get into position to score, and the contact occurred immediately after he made contact with the puck. When referee Kelly Sutherland says this is a goal due to the initial contact by the Pittsburgh defenseman, he was referring to Karlsson and Barron, not Karlsson and Shelovs. That only added to the confusion, because of course it did. It's fucking Kelly Sutherland. The Penguins then hilariously distributed the rules to the media in attendance, and Ed Friedman says, to be honest, I was surprised at how many people said that there wasn't much of a dispute. When he saw it live, he thought for sure it was no goal. They did not feel that Barron pushed, shoved, or fouled Karlsson. They felt it was a battle that Barron won. Then he was playing cards on Sunday when the Blue Jackets challenged, because no way would he have thought it was a good goal after the Barron thing. And according to him, once again, puck location was the deciding factor. The puck was between him and the net, either on the ice or in the air. So when Lee collided with the goalie, it was behind him and not in the crease. That's what was the difference there. He keeps going on, and he's like, listen, some of this is going to be interesting. He said to the NHL Situation Room that they should be putting out video explainers themselves, because while he doesn't agree with them, they can at least have the walkthrough, which opens his eyes to a few critical factors. And we have always said that, is that they have to communicate this other than just printing the rules.
The fucking reasoning that they gave for the one Pittsburgh goal was just them quoting goaltender interference.
And it wasn't.
They didn't give any explanation whatsoever. And that's my thing, is if you can't explain it in the moment, if you cannot give me 2 to 4 sentences, then and also, again, why the fuck does the fact that it's called a good goal on the ice impact the decision?
I agree.
Because they say, oh, well, if it's called a goal on the ice, it's harder to overturn.
No,
well, then that's
obviously
not fucking
not
true. And it's not fucking true, because everyone manages to get it overturned against us except one time, and we never managed to have it overturned.
Yeah.
So that's obviously not fucking true, and it shouldn't be true, because it's either a good goal or it isn't. The call on the ice should have no impact on that. It's absurd that it does.
I also would like to point out, of course, as he was writing this, and again, this was last night, the Penguins lost another challenge.
Yeah, and that's
Jeff
where
Jackson's Penguins losing a goalie interference challenge.
And that's why I was like, I need him to shut the fuck up a little bit, because he does seem to have a little bit of a bias against the Penguins, not as much as Saravelli and stuff like that, but he does have a little bit of a bias against them. Too. Because there's been a number of times where he's been talking about this stuff, and I'm like, but you didn't he I don't like him. I don't like him. Especially with how the player safety stuff has been handled by him too.
I agree.
There's a lot of things that piss me off about him, but in this specific case, it's why is everyone so scared to point out the hypocrisy? Because no one in the Penguins side is afraid of it. Like,
No.
every single reporter is like, how, like, they need to be investigated. Like,
Yep.
this is actually absurd. Like, it has gone past the point of like it's every stat guy, every casual fan, every diehard fan, every reporter, every interviewer, I think Berkey might lose his fucking mind. I think he may actually explode live on television.
Hearing him like completely crash out
And
about,
he's a valid fucking crash out about it
but
too.
it was very, very funny. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's ridiculous. I'm sick of it. It needs to be a discussion either in the next CBA or
which
in
they
the
already
off-season.
did, which
I
just
know,
sucks.
so it's not going to be a thing. Real quick, speaking of the race to the finish, we have a new leader of the Eastern Conference while we were gone. Or excuse me, the Atlantic Division.
The Atlantic Division specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be the Buffalo Sabres. Where the fuck did they come from?
They started drinking together. Like, I know we joked about the heated rivalry, but like, team bonding.
Yeah,
like,
team
bonding is so fucking real, and it's so obvious that like people are not taking it seriously in some ways, and it's like, if only you had bonded
genuine
with your team.
care. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons that the Oilers in 2024-2025 went so far. They got to their lowest of the lows and went, we can't be worse, and then started hanging out together outside of work. And last year, right before the Cup run, they all went to see Lion King together. Yeah. And like, it's just moments where you're not just teammates, you're friends.
There was two things about the Sabres. One was earlier this season, there was a Reddit or Twitter post or something about someone complaining about their I think it's their goalie. It might have been
Leon.
I can't remember, but basically one of their goalies was caught. Like, there was a picture of him partying it up after a loss. And like, the guy was like, this is disgraceful, whatever. And it was like, dude, like, he lives in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like, let the kid like go have fun.
Decompress.
And then it turns out that it's them going out and drinking is what they personally credit it to,
which is awesome.
Like, winning. And then the other one is that it's not the Sabres specifically, but there was an article a while back, or like an interview, that discussed how older generation, like, hockey players, like, there's been recent articles about it in general, but like, this specifically was older hockey generation was finding it harder to bond with the younger generation.
Yeah.
Because in the older generation, they would just they would go out and party and they would drink, and a lot of the younger kids now, they smoke weed. Or not weed, but like, they don't smoke it, but like, it's
gummies
weed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe some of them do smoke it, I don't know, but like, it was mostly they take edibles, and they do edibles and not go out drinking. They play video games, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they were struggling to bond. It might have been the Capitals, but like, that was one of the things that they pointed out in the difference between the two generations, and how that kind of inhibited some bonding. And then there was just that article from the Sharks, or like interview from the Sharks, where Ryan Reeves was like, what the fuck is this? Because they used to make the rookies wait at like
oh my god,
yeah, to like eat, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Again, it's a cult.
It's a cult. And now they don't do that anymore. Like, it's equal. And I'm like, yeah. I genuinely think, and that's why I have like a lot of credit to the teams that like have banned the rookie lap, and that like don't allow that kind of shit at all, because I think I'm not necessarily against like minor hazing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of like, oh yay, he's
I think of Ben Kendall with his tie out, like the constant teasing that he got for that.
Yeah.
In that one video. I think that's normal. That's also called being friends.
There's like being friends. I think it's just one of those where, unfortunately, because it's compounded with the negativity and the dangers of like the cultish mentality in hockey, that's where it becomes it's one of those things where it's like it's harmful overall, and so those micro harms then become more damaging because they're like a symptom, as opposed to it being like a healthy outlet. You're like one of those where you kind of squinty eyes, I don't trust you. I don't know if I could trust you to do that. But yeah, I mean, we joke about like the heated rivalry thing, but like I genuinely can see where these dudes play hard together because you give a shit about each other.
Yep.
And when you spend time together, you start to learn more about each other. And when you learn more about each other, you can play better together.
Yes.
And I think we can attest to that even in like the mediocre level of like online gaming.
Yes.
Playing with strangers. You find randoms that you can like click with, but playing with strangers versus playing with your friends is totally different.
Yes, I agree. And it's something that, as somebody who got into hockey because of ice dancing, the best ice dancers have intimacy coaches. Like they have these coaches that teach them how to, and like they have relationship therapists. Because these are the people that you spend, what is it, maybe 18 of your 20 or 24 hours a day. You are constantly with them, even if it's practice or if it's traveling on a plane or if it's, hanging out in a hotel room. One of the reasons that we love the Sharks so much last year was the freaking sleepover. Like, it's just one of those things where when you don't have any whimsy in your team, you kind of like fall off a cliff because you need that. You're on ice, on sharp knives. Skating.
you need to
have something. Yeah.
I genuinely think that it would be kind of cool if I say cool. It's one of those of like, why haven't they done it already? Like we've talked before about like group or like team therapists, like for sports therapy. But like I think having a dedicated team therapist, like
yes.
Not necessarily like having two therapists. One should be like a sports psychologist, like someone who's dedicated into like helping these guys talk through. I think it's absurd if a team doesn't have like an on-call sports psychologist who they should be doing like monthly check-ins or bi-weekly check-ins. I would say weekly, but I know they don't have a lot of time for like 22 players and stuff. So I'd say like bi-weekly or at least monthly if they're older and like maybe more confident, or like it can be at the discretion of like, hey, where the coach is a little worried about you, or I have noticed that you're, it works in real therapy too, where like your therapist will be like, hey, I only need to see you once a week. I think you're doing really well. Or, hey, I see that you're going through something and I think you need a little bit more dedicated time to help work through those issues. Let's move to, every other day or whatever, like twice a week. But so have them do that twice a month or once a month and just talk it out. Like it was like the struggles that the Pens had with not being able to win in overtime or shootouts or clawing back the lead, how we would blow like 5-goal leads for nothing. Like as soon as we saw that we had a big lead, we just fell apart and the nerves really, really got to them. So yeah, I think that it would be like unironically a really good thing to have one person to talk to them on a personal level with sports psychology, and then one person to help them vibe as a team. I feel like I know that to a degree in good
organizations,
good teams. That's just your captain. That's your captains or like the leaders in the room. And the Pens have a lot of leaders, and the Oilers have a lot of leaders. But like, I don't know, just something that's
you almost need like scheduled team bonding time.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I know the Oil Drop once showed like it was like Stetch, Emby, Rico, and then somebody else from last year's team. They all went to a cooking class, and I remember being like, "That's silly," but also then you come away with those guys having spent in 2 or 3 hours in a cooking class, and you have inside jokes, and you have like little moments that you can live for, fight for. Because they are no longer, there's my teammate getting roughed around by, Nate McKinnon or Radko Gudas. And then you have, or versus, oh my God, that's my, buddy
that's
who
my bitch.
Who already has revealed to me that he's terrified of a game life-altering injury and not being able to blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. I think that'd be something in there that needs to be done.
I have a dumb relation to that, which is that you were talking about like inside jokes. We, not to spoil some of the vlog, but we were playing Taboo, a game that me, Callie, and Kota, our dear good friends, had never played before, and we were on the same team. And then Champ and Austin played all the time.
No, this is our first time playing.
Was it your first time playing?
We know the rules.
You just knew the rules.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys had played it before.
No.
And then Matt had, so nobody had ever played before. But me, Callie, and Kota, we were playing, and at one point, it was the last round, I was like, why am I stumbling over stuff? This is so dumb. I can speak in we call it code switching.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like you can speak in code. So the first one I get is flamingo. And I go, oh. And they go,
immediately
flamingo?
got it. They
And that's
immediately
how
got it.
the rest of the fucking, like, I got 5 in one round because, and all of them were, you'd have to go back and give me the other ones because I don't remember, but I know like 3 of them were just dumb inside jokes or like things that only we could know by being friends.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? And I think I stole the idea from Matt because I think he had done it. But like that's how you do it, right? Like if you know these people really well, you can like have these little moments where you're like, oh, I know what she's thinking because you've spent that time together. Like
you'll actually see that something coming up in one of the 10-minute misconducts that we filmed while we were out there, something very similar. But speaking last topic before we go to our break, Saint, the Kraken and the Hurricanes are going to Finland. I mean, I wanted it to be Germany.
I was surprised because I guess I also expected it either to be Germany or Switzerland. Or like
check.
any other. Yeah. And I know it's a numbers game that they're just picking the teams that have the most like amount on that roster. Like the Pens originally had 3 players on our roster that were Swedish.
Yeah.
And
so only one of them played.
Only one of them played, and then almost didn't. So, which was fucking tragic. Literally cried over Rax not getting to be able to play in front of his grandmother.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like, it's not like they have to have 50% of their roster be Finnish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if only 3 of the Pens, one of them who wasn't even like a first or second liner, win or like go to this thing. I guess I was just surprised that they would immediately run it back to Finland. Like, I would have expected at least another like 2 years and then go back to Finland. That's fine. But like, I don't know, just felt really strange. Weird. Like maybe I don't know. I don't know.
I think it'll be fun. I think, we have the Kraken who have a couple Finnish teammates. It will not be as crazy as it was with Dallas versus the Panthers last year because the Finnish Mafia, and then we also had the Panthers with their, I think it was 4, so it was 4v4. So I think
it was a lot more than like I think.
Well, I could also be not realizing how many Finnish players are on those teams.
Yeah, I have truly no clue.
I know that
off the top of my head
is. Am I wrong? Sebastian Aho.
Did they not give a list?
No.
Like I would, because I feel like they should just give a list.
No, I'm right. Yay! I was like,
but yeah,
like weird. he's not their captain. Is he their captain? I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things where I like. Of a couple people who are like, oh yeah, they're Finnish, but now it'll be interesting to see them play at home ice. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun.
I think it's good too, like another like East-West team.
Yeah.
I think that's always a good choice because
that's gonna be exhausting for Kraken. Oh my god.
Apparently, it's no different for the Kraken than it's actually less miles to get to Finland than it was for them to get to like other cities because you go
north.
I guess now I want to look this up. Seattle to what would be one Helsinki? Like just off the top of my head. Like let's just see what's a flight path here. I think they're talking like maybe flat mileage. I don't know. Someone had some weird statistic that like I think it's that flying from Seattle to
Florida
to Florida or like New York or whatever is the same distance as if they were flying from New York or Carolina or whatever to Norway.
Which they are.
I could be wrong.
They are the farthest west team.
This person probably was very wrong. I don't know what they were talking about because it was some post. I feel like I tried to send it to you and then forgot. So maybe just ignore me. But like it was some weird statistic about the distance that basically because Seattle is so fucking far that it's really not as big of a deal as everyone is making it seem for them. Because it's like, oh, well, it's 12 hours and they have private jets, so it'll be a lot faster. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to do like nonstop or they might do like a layover. I think they'd have to do layovers because they'd have to do like Seattle to New York and then to Finland or something like that, even if it's private. But
all right. Well, Saint, do we have a sponsor this week?
Today's sponsor is St. Astra, a Twitch streamer, cosplayer, and artist. You can support her by purchasing from her Etsy or subscribing on twitch.tv/St. Astra. Use your free Prime sub and get access to awesome emotes. St. Astra's Etsy also sells a variety of jewelry, decorations, and trinkets. Everything is handmade and crafted with the perfect balance of love and spite. All proceeds go directly to the St. Astra hockey-related DIY fund.
All right, let's turn to our one-timer topic where we take one shot at the biggest story. This week's topic, Sate. We just got back from a month of watching hockey. Literally over the course of March 8th to March 22nd, we saw 5 games, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you consider a lot of the travel that went into it, holy fuck.
Oh my fucking God. Like, guys, this is like something we're probably going to talk about on stream.
Maybe, a lot.
Because like, holy shit. Every time I tell my because I went back to work and had to tell my coworkers all the stories.
Yeah.
Like,
you're insane.
What the fuck? What the fuck? And then Matt's stories was like, what?
Yeah. Yep. We went, the first game that we went to was in Pittsburgh, which if you do not know, we are not in Pittsburgh. It is a 5 to 6 hour drive each way for both of us. You were dealing with the clusterfuck of a century, where we almost thought the Pittsburgh trip was not going to happen, which was, and then 3 days later, we flew from our hometowns. Well, you drove to Toronto and then flew out.
I was a smart cookie, everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody read the writing on the wall and was like,
somebody just wanted to land at her
everything's looking a little
airport.
Fucked up, and I don't live in Canada, and I don't have a major regional airport near me. I have
to drive home in 10 minutes.
Smaller, which you're dumb. You're dumb. I can say that now because it's over, but you're dumb. You should have just driven the fucking.
I know.
You're so dumb. How much time did you lose because you didn't want to drive? You could have done what we did. Because here's why I had
gone 2 hours. It's fine.
Minimal sympathy for you was because we were driving farther than you.
I know.
So I was like,
yeah, but I also went back to work the day of.
Which I understand you couldn't take the extra day off. I took the extra day off because I was like, I
just wanted to be home.
I know.
All right. You drove 3 hours to Toronto.
3 hours to Toronto.
Had next to zero problems. I think you had a delay.
No delay. The only real problem we had was coming home. When we came home, we had 4 different problems. The Uber driver dropped us off at the wrong hotel at 1 a.m. twice. Right. We walked.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I had a clusterfuck. I just wanted to go to Canada, man. I just wanted to see my team play on home ice.
We've had this planned for 2 years.
2 years. And my first flight, they told me at 4 a.m. on the Thursday we were flying out that the flight was no longer feasible because they had changed the flight a week before, had gotten in contact with us a singular time. No pressure at all. Didn't yell at us when we tried to check in on our phones. It was when we tried to check out our baggage, they went, yeah, no. So then instead of going from my hometown to Chicago to Calgary, it was my hometown to Chicago to Dallas to Calgary.
I forgot about the Dallas stopover.
I didn't. And so we got to Chicago. We took that one. We were going to go to Seattle, by the way. Like, that was an option. And then as soon as she gave us that option, she actually went, I think the doors to that plane just actually closed. And I said, so why would you give me that option? Lost my shit. So we went to Chicago. We land there extra early, like a full 45 minutes early. We were shocked because it wasn't good weather. It wasn't like we were flying through easy, flying. So I decide I'm going to run. I'm going to sprint my ass to the to the gate and see if I can get on. And I get there and she goes, no. And I was like, fuck. All right, whatever. And then I turn around. I'm like trying to think of what we're doing. And she goes, we have oversold this flight by 5 seats. Anybody who wants to go on the later flight to Calgary will be paid handsomely. And our friend Matt, who, again, you'll see this all in the vlogs. There are,
it's going to be the way,
there are
debacle.
3.
We need
Surprise.
to make TikToks of it.
There are, so our friend Matt is also supposed to be on that same flight. We had planned it that he would be on that same flight. We would be in the same seat. So it'd been great. Matt's,
which we've done successfully before, by the way, back
when
Southwest used to not suck because they were a closed circuit flight system, and you could just meet up at different airports so that you could fly together for the second half of your journey. It was great.
And so Matt was also landing there. Can't find him. They're offering $800, $1,000, $1,200. And like the plan was that Matt was going to be the one to drive if I couldn't be there. So all of a sudden this money starts sounding really, really appealing. And so finally I'm like, Matt, I think you have to take it. He took it when it got to $2,000. And
originally, you guys are at the airport. You had missed that you couldn't get on the flight. So sad, too bad.
Because they overfilled it.
You called me to tell me, well, my plane is getting ready to take off.
You're getting yelled at by the flight attendant.
Like, literally, the flight attendant is, like, coming over to yell at me. I'm talking to you.
I can't find Matt. Matt's dead.
Matt's dead. And Callie, who is doped up on Xanax, is trying to call Matt. And I'm screaming, like, stage whispering. And being like, I need you to shift W. I need you to fucking haul ass. I need you to run, Matt. They're offering $2,000. Like, you need to. At the time, it was like $1,500, which is still fucking absurd. That's as much as we paid to rent the car for 13 days. Like, absolutely crazy. And then
what was funny was Austin found him, but the lady like looked at me and she goes, is he in the airport? I said yes. And she goes, is he on his way? I said yes. And she goes, what's his name? So I gave him all of his personal information. I kicked Matt off that flight. Matt agreed at the last second, but I was the one who was like, yep, here's his name and everything.
It was just so funny because it was one of those scenarios of like, of fucking course he's not gonna fly, because the way that the flight worked, and we shouldn't be having this discussion on the puck, but it is funny. That originally you guys were going to be there like second. And then Matt, like with Matt, it ended up being like, okay, well, it was funny how that was how the week and ended up being divided into those two groups. It was me, Callie, and Kota, and then you, Austin, and Matt.
That's because we were trauma bonded.
Yeah, because you'd gotten trauma bonded. But like that was. It was the better. It eventually was like, originally we were not planning that like at all. And you guys knew that you weren't getting on that flight like at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And so we
4
were
a.m.
Like, okay. Yeah. 4 a.m. You called me at 6 a.m.
I gave you a little bit longer to sleep.
But like, it was a scenario of like, we both had that kind of realization of like, why doesn't Matt just go on the money flight with you? Like, I literally had like a moment with a light bulb where I like looked at Callie and I was like, why doesn't Matt just take the fucking money?
And then he did.
Go. And he did. Yep. Godspeed. Thanks for the KBBQ and steak, Matt. So yeah. Dinner.
We spent a great time in the mountains. We will be going back. Oh my God, the mountains were incredible. Oh man. They literally have sparked us going, yeah, we like these hockey trips, and the hockey trips are great. Can we go to the Pacific Northwest?
We changed our plans from being like, let's go see the redwoods in California to we are now taking 2 weeks to explore the Pacific Northwest and Northern California instead of doing an only California road trip. And now we're going to have a second trip to California because if I don't see the
Sequoias, and a third trip back to Banff.
And then another trip back to Banff. Yep.
Oh my God. We finally get to the Oilers game, and the first one was on Sunday. Let me tell you, there was nothing like seeing your team on home ice. I teared up several times, and I know you knew this, but poor Matt was like, are you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm just really happy to be seeing my team in my barn, even though I don't live here. It's just so happy to see them. It is.
That's the first. I was so happy for you because like that's how I felt when I got to Pittsburgh.
You got to go to Pittsburgh.
The first time was really, really special. I was like, this is my team, and I was really into hockey, but not like I had just started. The second time we went to Pittsburgh with the Ottawa Senators game, I was like, and I knew hockey, and I was like, no, I'm so fucking happy to be here. Like, it feels like home.
It does.
It really does.
God, it was
like
so good.
In a weird way, it feels like home.
Love how they do their opening. Love that you get to wait inside. This might be something that is universal to all Canada barns, but like you get to wait inside at Rogers when you're waiting to go into the arena. Fucking genius. Arena. Oh my God.
Every arena. Because I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, because we've been to several arenas. There is no arena that shouldn't have that. Because everywhere except California has fucking weather.
Yeah.
Like, even though Florida is beautiful so much of the time, I guarantee you there is random, like, downpour days.
Yeah.
The hurricanes that are, like, the bands have come by and just causing a lot of rain. Like, Florida has that beautiful open campus, but I don't understand why they don't have more
inside
slightly
spots.
Covered. Yeah, and then Pens, I understand they had space constraints, but it is
Boston,
crazy that Boston too. And at least in Boston, they do have like that overhang spot because of where there's like the
shops and stuff.
Yeah. And so, like, you do, if you're one of the first people, like first 200 people online, you're covered.
Space. Yeah, which was nice. We were every time. But it was that's insane. Love it. They do a countdown every single time that the gates open. I thought that was great. We got Leon Draisaitl bobbleheads. Fantastic. And the one thing I will complain about, hey Edmonton, I ragged on Florida for not having game day pucks. Why the fuck don't you have game day pucks?
Was shocked. I haven't talked to my cousins about this, but next time, like, I talk to them, I'm gonna tell them, because they're the only ones, and we've been to so right now it's like 1/3 of the arenas we've been to don't have game day pucks, which is only
weird.
2. But all of the other, again, I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially for Edmonton, where, like,
collectors.
It's a collector's thing. And we talked about how when we did the tour that, like, hockey pucks weren't really a big collector's item.
Yeah.
At first, like, they became very, very popular later.
Yeah.
But, like, initially pucks were not that big of a deal. But, like, pucks have been such a big deal for such a long time. And they had tons of pucks. Like, they had
which was cool.
Which is cool. They had tons of novelty ones. But, like, the way that all of the other arenas do it is that they have the game day pucks, and then if they get too many, what they do is they either put them in like charity grab bags. That's what the Pens just did, is they had charity grab bags. You could buy a puck for, like, $50, and it all went to charity, and it was like a random puck that was signed by a random player.
It's cool.
Like, dude, you could like, you don't have to, they don't have to be warm-up pucks. Like, just the fact that they're a game day puck, like, some of those games are actually, like, I'm thinking like Buffalo versus Tampa Bay, right?
Yes,
that was a fucking crazy game. I'd want a puck just to it's a commemorative.
When you go down the line of the stuff that you're looking at, and pointing out the pucks that you went to. Now, I will ask people who are listening: do your teams do this? If you've been to a home game, do they have like game day pucks where it says the teams that are playing, the date? And I think that some of them do, like, if there's an event at night, because I think there was a Margaritaville one on our.
They'll do, like, specialty pucks. Like, the Oilers did a Pride puck, but they didn't do a St. Patrick's Day puck.
I just think it was weird.
They didn't do a St. Patrick's Day puck either, which the Pens do. They had the game day puck and their specialty pucks for event nights. Like, I don't know. It's just you
weird.
Don't even need to make 18,000 of them. You just need to make a couple hundred, and then the first couple hundred people in the door are gonna get it. And it's like, oh well, if you run out, you run out. Like, artificial scarcity is fine in a limited edition run where, like, there's not a crazy high demand for it. But, like, the fact that they don't have just, like, an order of 500 per game is crazy.
Drove me batty. I literally was like, you gotta be kidding me.
We were so annoyed. Like, that was, like, the one thing that pissed us off, because then we had to come up with, like, and then I was annoyed because we adjusted, right? We were like, okay, well, we'll get the Leon Draisaitl puck. Or we got, like, the comic book. Because it was Bobblehead Night. It's like, okay, well, that's the one that represents Bobblehead Night. And then we were going to get a St. Patrick's Day puck because we wanted St. Patrick's Day. And then they didn't have that. And I was like, well, now I've got to get, like...
We got the glitter pucks.
Because we were wearing our rhinestone jerseys. But, like, it was still just like, man, are you fucking kidding me? Every time we tried to do something, they had the Pride pucks, so we grabbed that. And then the last one, we just grabbed, like, a random cool logo puck.
Oil rig,
but, like, it was just... weird. I don't understand.
Didn't like that. Bad. That's the only thing. But literally the only thing. We have a new routine. Instead of getting canes afterwards, we took shots of vodka, Grey Goose specifically, before the game started. And you got a Twisted Tea. I got a Truly. Delicious. Never have had that before. And then we went and we watched hockey. And oh my God, the hockey was so good. Except for the Panthers. We're ignoring them. The one thing that happened while we were there, Saint, that kind of ruined the entire week. Not ruined, because it was a fantastic week, but it did change some things. Was we got to see Leon Draisaitl score. Fantastic. And then immediately, Ozzy Weisblatt killed him. Literal murder. And he's dead forever.
He's dead for the rest of the season. I think I'm cursed, which is what the Border Patrol officer said. When I came back, the Canadian one. Right. When I came back, he was like, "Oh, sounds like you were cursed." Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I am, because Sid got hurt. Mm-hmm. And Gino I was like, oh, that sucks. But Gino got suspended for 5 games.
The day before we left.
Two games before. He got suspended the one game, and then so he was kicked out of that game, right? Yeah. Then got suspended the next day for 5 games. Yep. And so there was no shot of us seeing him, even though I was there for 2 fucking games. Yep. So it was like, if he'd had like a 2 game or a 1 game, it was like, oh, well, I'll see it, like whatever. There was just no fucking way after him getting 5 games. So I don't get to see Gino. I don't get to see Sid. And then we get there, and my favorite player on the hockey,
we did ask the hockey gods.
And I asked the hockey gods, the monkey paw curled, because I said, all I want is a Leon Draisaitl goal. That's all I want. Like, I want to be able to say, yep, I got it. And that was it. And I also called it, I would like to say. I don't remember if you, I don't know if you remember, but I did say it's all downhill from here.
I don't remember that at all.
The first game, after the first game was done, and I was like, holy shit, this was like the best experience ever. I said, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
And it was. And it was. Like, the second game was fantastic. So much fun.
We got to take our friends to see the sport that we love so much. We have definitely got Kota into hockey. We have 100% got Callie into hockey. They will never be like us. They'll appear on the podcast for a couple things.
But when Callie, by the end of the Pittsburgh trip, was like learning the rules. Yeah. Hasn't like picked her team yet. Though it was funny because I was like, oh, well, you can go become a Sharks fan with Kota. And she got offended and was like, what about the Pens? And I was like, you can be a Pens fan if you want. I want you to be a Pens fan, but I'm not going to. I was like, there's like maybe 20 teams. I'll kill you if you like them. Right. But there's like 6. She in another life was a Flyers fan because she loves gritty. And I was like, no. Yeah. You can't be a Flyers fan. You'll never know joy.
So that was awesome. Matt had a great time at the games that we took him to, I hope. My husband, Austin, also had a fantastic time. We did win the Sharks game, so I was a little bit more nice. We won the Predators game, so we were much nicer. Then we had the Panthers game. Was not nice. Almost threw a cup at a child's head. He shouldn't have been wearing a Chuck jersey.
It was payback for my cousins going to the game and being excited to see the game, and then we also killed them. But we let them score.
Right.
So
it was a shutout at home. Oh my god,
shutout. And that was the thing. I always usually ask like not a shutout or not a this. And I was like, no, I really want to win.
Like it.
And I was too greedy. I should have said not a shutout, and then maybe we would have gotten 1 fucking goal.
Yep.
But
got ridiculously drunk. Did not have a good time chilling. Well, I did. It was funny because it was really funny getting into the car. There are like when this vlog comes out, there's like 4 or 5 different times where we, for some reason, jump into talking about the hockey like we're on Puck Witches. And I'm like, hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Puck Witches. Hilarious.
We were not drunk, but we were, well, one of them we were drunk, but
I was going to say, girl, I was not aware of most things. Satan also made me walk really fast. I'm still not over that.
Again, this trip, I knew it after our trip to Boston, but this trip, I shouldn't be the most athletic one in the group, but I am. Yeah. I don't feel like this is how the world should be. I've never been the most athletic person in a group. Yep. I am the most athletic person in this group.
I kept up, but I complained the whole fucking way.
Yep. I mean, and I'm like, meanwhile, I'm like, it's freezing, it's cold.
It was raining.
Middle of the city at night, alone and intoxicated. We need to fucking walk. Like, I went full New York. Full New York.
And then we had the Tampa game in the Upper Bowl, which I will say Upper Bowl, best experience. If only for...
Was it? I think it was just the most...
that was correct.
The one where I felt
You're correct.
Most
it was the most...
I don't want to say at home.
It was the one where we had the most fans surrounding us. Everywhere Lower Bowl, awful. crowd. Awful
fan
crowd.
experiences. Yeah,
Awful
I feel
fan
like
experience.
that was the best fan experience. It was nice not having to worry about cameras being on us or like getting hit by t-shirts or like anyone interacting. You know what I mean? Like there was no pressure when you're
Speak of the fucking devil, I'm putting in right here where you can see us on camera for the entirety of the Preds game. Hilarious. I thought that was so funny. Everybody kept calling you.
My family made a it was like a fucking
Where's Waldo?
Like a family event. Yeah. Like people in my family who don't, because I texted my cousins because they watch hockey. And I was like, hey, we're going to be in the lower bowl. We're on ice. And I showed him sent him a picture of our view. And I was like, because the Panthers were playing. And so I said, haha, if you get bored with the Panthers. And so he pulled it up on his iPad. So he was watching us on his iPad and then watching the Panthers on the big TV. And like, and then my mom, my brother, and my dad were watching in the living room on the big TV.
And I had friends that were watching.
But then my other cousins called and were talking to mom, and mom mentioned it. So then everyone else in the family in the group chat was like, what do you mean she's on the TV? I don't think we have ESPN. What channel is it? Like trying to.
It's so fucking funny.
I literally am going to have to, like, next time we have a family event, pull up that fucking game. And like watch it or make like a clip of us because I can do that.
Oh, it's so funny.
Because
we did get to yell at the refs a lot, and that did get caught on camera.
Which my cousin said and texted us and said they staged that fight just for you because how did that happen right in front of you?
Quite literally.
He's like unbelievable. That was my favorite game. Undisputed.
All right, let's move into Sportsmanlike Conduct, where we spin the wheel and pick our team of the week. And no matter who it lands on, we have to say something nice and spread a little love on the ice, saying this does not look good. There's still some teams on there. There's still some teams on there.
There's still some teams on there that we.
There's one that I'm looking at right now that I'm not happy with.
Yeah, there's a couple on there that I'm really not happy with. Right, quite a few. So
let's see where we're getting
shit. Fuck.
Let's see where we're getting
advertisements for dog chews because I messaged you about.
I swear to fucking God, I knew that was the one we were gonna get. I knew that was the one we were gonna get.
We're gonna get
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
The hockey gods are fucked up. Fucked up, my dog.
I would like to take a moment to pause. Okay, first of all, this week's the choice for the Sportsmanlike Conduct is the Nashville Predators. I would like to point out we technically already did a Sportsmanlike Conduct for the Nashville Predators because I just rewatched it, and I'm going to tell you what Saint Astra said. Okay, and I quote, drunk out of her mind. The Nashville Predators are very pretty. That's their Sportsmanlike Conduct.
It was so funny because we were so up close and personal with the Predators because of warm-ups. And I was like, wow.
They are.
Not all of them are pretty, but they have a lot of lethal face cards. Yeah. Okay? Like, there's a lot of you clear. And I'm just like, you know what? And you can call me the fucking pug buddy, whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck. I have eyes and I have taste and I will be using them.
Yeah. You also said, and I quote, Ryan O'Reilly, please come to the Pens. We'll get you a sports psychologist and a therapist.
I did say
that. For real though, I think that my favorite, I said it at the game, is that I think my favorite part of the Predators is Philip Forsberg. He's just a really humble guy. I think that he's really, really unique on and off the ice. He's a really strong, I think he's defenseman. And I really like his mustache. There's my niceness for the day. I'm still mad at them, so I'm gonna be very, very polite.
Yeah, I'm why champ, what happened?
I don't know, Saint, tell me.
I don't know.
We won, I don't care.
Yeah, I am pretty ambivalent to the Preds.
Well,
they've done some good pride shit too.
Yes,
which I think is fun.
Preds in the community.
Preds in the community. Yeah, so they've done good pride stuff. And yeah, there's quite a few players on there that I think are pretty. So
yeah. I will say I will always remember the experience that I had at the first game. And so now they are, for my first Oilers game on home ice, they will always now have a special part of my memory because of it.
Yeah, and like if they had not hurt Leon,
Fantastic
I would have
game.
been I would have been so endeared to them.
Yeah.
Not in like a, you know how like the Pens and the Caps hated each other.
Yeah.
Now it's turned into like a grudging respect and almost like a pleasant respect. Like as it's matured, right? That's how I was feeling with the Preds, where I was like, okay,
it was Mayor of Nashville.
Yeah, like we were like there was just so much that like I was really gonna be like. And I have a family who lives there, and they go to Preds games, even though they're not like technically fans. They just go because it's hockey.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, y'all blew it by hurting my boy. I would have really liked you.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this very lengthy episode. Folks, we really appreciate you listening through all of our rants and ramblings. The Puck Witches podcast is released on Spotify and our YouTube channels, and you can join the Night Witches Discord via the link below to talk about the episodes directly, as well as enjoy our other channels. It's full of gaming, hobbies, and good vibes.
Make sure you're following us over on Twitch, and if you want to support us with a Twitch Prime on either or both of our channels, you get access to cute emotes and extra channel points. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky for updates.
And lastly, don't forget to check out Saints Etsy or subscribe on Twitch. Also consider dropping a like on this episode and subscribing so you never miss a video. We love you all and hope the hockey season is treating you well. Champion Saint, signing off.
Stay witchy.